also known as 100 Steps Cemetery. Now, this cemetery is what is stated to be the most haunted cemetery in all of Indiana. Now, it is located in Brazil, Indiana, another small town, y'all. You know, if you watched the previous video about the Gordon Light, that I'm afraid of small towns. But anyway, this happened in Brazil, Indiana, another small town with a population of about 8,200 people. Brazil, Indiana started as like a gold rush type of town in the 1850s, but instead of mining for gold, they were mining for coal. And apparently the coal from Brazil, Indiana, was very sought after and was sold as a standard on the Chicago Board of Trade. Now, research time. Chicago Board of Trade. I remember like writing that up, but what even is that? The Chicago Board of Trade is an American futures and options exchange that was founded in 1848 and is now a designated contract market of the CME Group after merging with it in 2007. Okay. So, this is just a really good stocks and options board. And their goal was like a staple product on this trade. Okay, Brazil, Indiana. And it was founded in 1866 officially by farmers who named their farm after Brazil. And I think that's funny. I think that's like a thing in the Midwest where like people will name like a completely landlocked, only grass plains type of place after like somewhere beachy and tropical. So like, yeah, Brazil, Indiana. And it probably looks nothing of the sort. I'm gonna look up a picture of Brazil, Indiana. Yeah, it's completely landlocked, you guys. There is absolutely no body of water that would at all make it similar to Brazil. In addition, when I was like looking up Brazil, Indiana, you know, like sometimes Google will suggest to you like different questions pertaining to the topic that you Googled. Things were popping up like, who was Al Capone afraid of? What was Al Capone on the run for? Mob connections. Who is such and such? Insert mob person's name. So I'm like, why when I Google this place, all of these mob questions pop up specifically about Al Capone? Like, is there some type of mob connections there? Well, there doesn't seem to be mob connections to Brazil, Indiana specifically, but sidebar, there are rumors of him in the Indiana Dunes, which were supposedly known for bootlegging, even though apparently that has never been proven. But back to the story about Cloverland Cemetery, or 100 Steps Cemetery. vision of what your death is. And then you descend the stairs. But as you descend, you should count a different amount of steps. It should not be 100. And if you ascend at 100 steps and descend at a different number that's not 100, you get the vision. The vision of your death is true. And like, I guess you'll know how you're gonna die. But supposedly, if you ascend and it's 100 steps, and descend and it's also 100 steps, the vision that you saw was fake, so you don't get to know what your actual death is. And I don't know how it decides like who gets to see it and who doesn't, but yeah, the chosen ones, I guess. There are also these supernatural claims that if you try to cheat the ritual and purposefully skip steps on your way down in order to make the vision true, hands emerge from the ground and push you out of nowhere, leaving a burning red handprint. When I heard hands emerge out of nowhere and push you, I don't know how many of y'all watch One Piece, but it immediately reminded me of Robin. Like, what? Hands just pop up out of nowhere and push you down. So that's the legend. And that's what happens if you try to cheat the legend. The spirits don't like that. So there were also a lot of body snatchers at this cemetery. And I wanted to read you guys a newspaper clipping that I saw about this. It says, the work of body snatchers, and this was posted in the Indianapolis Journal. Brazil, Indiana, November 19th. The citizens of Posey Township in this county are greatly stirred up over a gasless discovery made at the Carpenter Cemetery, which we now know as the Cloverland Cemetery, 1/2 mile south of Cloverdale. About 2 years ago, George West, a wealthy farmer of that place, buried his daughter, Miss Emma. She died of an ordinary disease, and nothing to cause any fear of her grave being molested was apprehended. Recently, Miss West bought a lot in the cemetery, and yesterday engaged assistants to help him remove his daughter's remains to the new grounds. When the coffin was reached, all present were startled to find it upside down in the box and the corpse missing. So that's the newspaper clipping, but there were also body snatchers in the cemetery. And I just find that creepy within itself. But fun fact, in the 1800s, there wasn't a system for cadavers. So a lot of medical students would have to go and body snatch to get a cadaver to learn on. And I feel like because that's why they said she died of an ordinary disease, nothing to cause fear of her grave being molested. That's because it was known that medical students would snatch bodies to study them. So I just think that's a crazy fact that they had to go find their own cadavers. That is the Cloverland Cemetery. was an investigation done, and there were less than 90 actual steps in the staircase that is in the cemetery. And I think that falls into the lore of it. Like, maybe you're supposed to count 100 steps on your way up because that isn't the right number, and on the way down it's supposed to be 90 because that is the right number, which would then make the vision true, you know. But if you get back to the bottom and it's 100 steps, but it's not 100 steps, then that's not the right number. Y'all get what I'm saying? How do y'all feel about like this legend in general? Because me personally, I feel like I wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't want to like try it out to see, because I wouldn't want to know how I was going to die. Especially not like see it in a vision. That is like crazy. But some people would. So they would be intrigued. I wonder if someone has like fell down or been pushed down the stairs and they have proof of like the red burning handprint, or multiple people. This is a very, very interesting cemetery. But yeah, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I'll be uploading another 2 videos, because I still got